Hey everybody, it's Matthew again, your friendly neighborhood DM. Today we are going to be making another character. Last time we made a fighter, I'm looking here and going, let's bring some magic to the game here. And we're going to kind of decide what kind of character we're going to make. But to do that, we're just going to go ahead and do this through DND Beyond. So you just select where it says character builder right there. And we're going to go ahead and pick standard. So if you remember, I just said we just made a fighter a little while ago. So we went through a lot of the basics of this. So I will be skipping over a lot of the things that I feel were covered pretty thoroughly on the previous character. So if there's something I skip over here that you want to go through, check back onto that fighter build on the channel. So we're just going to pick a random name here, kind of really letting it dictate to a degree what kind of character we're going to build. So Kiara, I can actually pronounce this name reliably. So yeah, Kiara. We're going to be making Kiara today, guys. And we're actually going to really go into the optional class features and customizing your origin with this build, because I plan on actually making a magic class character with a race that isn't usually used for that kind of build. So everything else is pretty much going to stay the same, except we don't use encumbrance. We're ignoring the coin rate. Wait. Yep, that's all fine. So we're going to go over and pick a race. So as I said, we're going to make a magic full caster, but we're going to use a class that maybe isn't always hasn't always been looked at as the most optimal class for it. So we're going to go ahead and choose a Dragonborn. The reason I'm choosing Dragonborn is because recently there was a book that just came out from Wizards of the Coast, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. I purchased that book online through D&D Beyond, and I have access to that material here. So we're actually going to make a gem dragon. Dragonborn look very much like dragons standing erect in humanoid form, although they lack wings or a tail. Gem Dragonborn partake of the heritage of gem dragons, who claim to be heirs of Salador, the ruby dragon. The colors and mysterious powers of gem dragons, amethyst, crystal, emerald, sapphire, and topaz, gleam these dragonborn scaled skin and course through their veins. Theirs are the wonders of the mind, the force of will, the brilliant light of insight, and the resounding echo of discovery, but also the desiccation of despair. So really, the reason why I wanted to read that is just the wording. The wonders of the mind, the force of will, the brilliant light of insight, and the resounding echo of discovery, but also the desiccation of despair. That part there. That sounds very magic classy to me, doesn't it, guys? But if you look at what they originally, if you had chose the standard Dragonborn, it's not lending itself to being a magic class. Well, that's okay, because this race follows the new options for character creation first introduced in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You'll be able to customize options like ability score increases, languages, and alignments as you continue building your character. If you need suggestions, ask your DM. All right, so you are a humanoid. Great. You are medium. Also great. Your walking speed is 30, standard. Gem ancestry. So we're going to pick what kind of gem dragon you come from. I love the idea of going with psychic, and you'll see the reason when we end up picking our class and subclass. Because like the fighter build, we're going to go with, go ahead and get them up to 6th level. And we're probably just, because we already went over how leveling works, in that build, we're just going to go straight to 6th level, because that's where really, as I said, about 5th or 6th level, where you really become dangerous. Because you are a Dragonborn, you get a breath weapon, and you get draconic resistance. You get resistance to the damage type associated with your gem ancestry, which in this case is psychic. Psionic Mind, pretty cool. You can send messages. Starting at 5th level, you can manifest spectral wings on your bodies. These wings last 1 minute. That's all Gem Dragonborn. So that is going to be our race, and I think that's pretty cool. Origin man. So we're going to go ahead and skip on over to class. So the class that I was going to pick for this build is actually Sorcerer. So on this little flyout here, it does give a bit of info. If I could just make it tell us it. I cannot, but that's fine, because we'll read it later. So as I said, we're just going to go ahead and skip straight to 6th level. 26 hit points. You'll notice that that is significantly lower than our fighter. Well, sorcerers aren't supposed to be on the front lines usually. So that's why. That is the main reason why. You've got about half the amount of hit points than other classes that do that. So we're just going to work through this. They make things really easy for you, as before they highlight what you need to actually go through. And we're just going to work our way through this and make some selections here. So we're going to start picking our skills. Now, sorcerers are charisma-based casters. They cause damage through spells and whatnot through their charisma store. So our charisma is going to be higher. So we're going to go ahead and use persuasion and intimidation. Deception. Persuasion and deception. Okay, as our skills right now. We'll get more, obviously. Sorcerer's Origin. Now, I already know what I was going to choose for this. I'm going to choose the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. And as you see from the first thing there, psionic spells. You get more psionic spells. So if we click Show More, you gain extra spells. We're 6th level, so we're going to get Arms of Hadar, Dissident Wisdom, Whispers, Mind Sliver, Calm Emotions, Detect Thoughts, Hunger of Hadar, Sending. Great. All of these things are great. Telepathic Speech is kind of something we already get. But I'm pretty sure the Dragonborn's version doesn't allow you to speak back. I think this is generally just a better version of that. So this kind of just expands on something he can already do, which is cool. That's fine, I guess. And then Meta Magic. We're going to get 2 options here. So just so you guys can, because I realize you can't actually see the scroll out window here. Careful Spell, Distant Spell, Empowered Spell, Extended Spell, Heightened Spell, Quickened Spell, Seeking Spell, Subtle Spell, Transmuted Spell, Twin Spell. So sorcerers get what is called Meta Magic. It's kind of what make them them. And with that, they get sorcery points as well. which is always the same as your level. So he's going to be level 6, so he's going to have 6 sorcery points. Very easy to keep track of that way. And meta magic basically says I spend sorcery points to cause new and interesting effects to my spells. Most of these meta magics generally just do what they sound like they do. Quicken Spell allows you to, cast a spell that would have taken an action as a bonus action, and Twin Spell allows you to target 2 creatures. And there's a little more to that, but at its most basic, you can target 2 creatures instead of 1. Ability score improvement. This time we're going to take a feat. I know I always don't do this, but we're going to take a feat. And the feat that we're going to take might actually surprise some of you, because it's like, why would you do that? I was thinking either take the Gift of the Gem Dragon, which is pretty cool, or what I'm thinking we might do I realize you guys are just watching me scroll through things that you can't really see, and I am sorry. I'm just having trouble finding it here. There it is. One of my favorites, particularly to take as a sorcerer, which is kind of weird. Metamagic Adept. It gives you access to metamagic. Well, we're a sorcerer. We already have metamagic. Well, it gives you access to more. So you get 2 more magic options, which is cool. And more sorcery points. So originally we had 6. We now have 8 sorcery points. And we have a total of 4 metamagic options. So that's pretty cool. So, how are we going to use these? Well, I'm going to probably choose Heighten Spell. An Empowered Spell. The reason why I like to choose Empowered Spell is there's a little note on it that you can use it even if other metamagic options are already being used during that spell. Which basically means, in case you didn't know, you can only use 1 metamagic option per a spell. This is the only one you can stack with other abilities. So, Psionic Sorcery. I'm not going to read through as much as I did last time. It's up on the screen, so take a minute to read it. And then Psionic Dispense. Now, Psionic Defense is a little interesting because it says you gain resistance to psychic damage, but we already have resistance to psychic damage. And I know you're thinking, like, great, that means we have immunity to psychic damage. No, that is you still get that aspect of it. This is just one of those times, kind of like with the telekinetic part of it, that, things don't always work the way you want them to. We're going to go ahead and roll for stats real quick, and that's probably going to be where we leave off with this video for the day. discussed in the last video. The last part of it is really flavor, and then obviously choosing, equipment, and obviously now choosing spells. So that'll be the next video tomorrow. And I think that'll round this character out nicely. So we rolled stats. We rolled pretty good. Nothing above a 15, but that's perfectly fine. Also, nothing below a 10. So as I mentioned, we use charisma as our casting. So we're going to kind of start figuring out where to best put things. We use charisma as a casting, so we're going to go ahead and try to put as much towards that as possible. So our +2 will be in charisma. Well, we're also going to make charisma the 15. So that means it'll be 17, which is an odd number, which we don't like, right? Well, what we're going to do, if you remember, we took a feat We did not take that feat. So sketch what I was just thinking. We did not take that feat. We were about to take that feat, weren't we? That would have given us +1. So let's reevaluate here. We have a 14. So instead of doing charisma 15, we're going to do charisma 14. Because now with adding +2, it's now a 16. That's better. The other things that are important for casters, dexterity and constitution. And then obviously whatever you use as your score for casting, which in our case is charisma. So we're going to go ahead and put constitution as a 15 and use that +1 for constitution. And then filling up here, we're going to go ahead. You know what? I've already changed my mind. And that's the joy of this, guys. You can change your mind. We haven't finalized anything yet. I'm living real time with you here. And we're going to actually make dexterity 16. Because armor class to me is really important. And I cannot downplay that at all. Now it just comes down to flavor, really, guys. We're going to say he has a wisdom of 12, intelligence of 11, not that it makes much of a difference, and a strength score of 10. And we're going to go ahead and apply that. We're just going to review things just to make sure that everything looks the way we intended it to work. Yep, 16 charisma, 16 dexterity. Constitution's 13, which is respectable. That's fine. Wisdom 12, intelligence 11, strength 10. Perfect. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Probably, only one video today. I know I've been at a steady clip with 2 for a while. But tomorrow is also Friday. And I'm thinking, and keep in mind, I'm still deciding how we're going to do things for the channel. I'm thinking, take the weekends off. Weekends are family time, obviously. But try to keep it with 1 or 2 videos a day, 5 days a week. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow around the same time. Once again,